Subscribe to this channel and listen to my story now. Ethan had always thought of himself as the kind of guy who could handle things. College, work, friends, relationships. He liked to believe he could juggle it all. That confidence was what drew people to him. He had an easy smile and an instinct for saying the right thing at the right time. But by the end of his second year at university, that confidence would become the reason everything around him started to fall apart. It started innocently, or at least that's how he justified it. He had been dating Mia for nearly a year. She was smart, driven, the kind of girl who always had a plan. She studied psychology, worked part-time at a cafe downtown, and somehow managed to make everyone around her feel heard. Ethan loved that about her, the calm she carried into every space. When she talked about the future, she included him in it. It felt safe. Then there was Lily. He met her one weekend when he went home for his cousin's birthday party. Lily was a friend, someone he vaguely remembered seeing at high school events, but never really talked to. She had changed since then, more confident, more open. She laughed loudly, teased easily, and when she looked at him, it felt like she saw the version of himself he missed. The reckless one, the one who didn't overthink everything. It began with a few texts after that night. "It was good seeing you again," she wrote. "Then, you should come back more often." And Ethan, knowing he shouldn't, wrote back. By the time the semester started again, they were texting daily. She'd send him random photos from her day, voice notes when she couldn't sleep, and sometimes just a single miss you. He told himself it was harmless, that he and Lily were just reconnecting. But the line between friendly and something more blurred faster than he expected. When Lily came to visit her cousin in the city, she asked if he wanted to grab coffee. He said yes. One coffee became a long walk through the park, then dinner, then a kiss outside the subway. That night, when he came home to find a message from Mia, "How was your day, babe?" He stared at the screen for a long time before typing. "Good. Just tired." "You." He told himself he could handle it, that he loved Mia, but Lily reminded him of something he didn't want to lose. Weeks passed. He learned to live between two lives, two phones, two sets of plans, two different smiles. With Mia, he went to study sessions, quiet dinners, nights spent watching documentaries on the couch. With Lily, he drove out of the city for late-night adventures, snuck into diners at 2 a.m., laughed until his voice broke. It was thrilling and exhausting. There were moments when he caught himself almost slipping, mentioning something to Mia that had happened with Lily, or calling Lily by Mia's name during a call. Each time, his heart would stop, and he'd swear to himself that he'd end it. But then he'd see Lily's name pop up on his screen, or hear Mia laugh, and he'd fall back into the same trap. It wasn't that he wanted to hurt them. He just couldn't choose. Mia grounded him. She made him feel like he was building something real. Lily made him feel alive, spontaneous, free. With Mia, he was the man he wanted to become. With Lily, he was the boy he still missed being. One night, while studying with Mia, her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, smiled faintly, and set it aside. Ethan noticed, out of habit, but didn't say anything. He realized how much he'd come to depend on her calm. How easy it was to forget that she had her own life, her own thoughts, her own secrets. That thought scared him. Later, when he got home, Lily called him. "You sound tired," she said softly. "Yeah," he laughed weakly. "Long day. Do you ever think about us?" she asked. "Like what this is?" He hesitated. "Yeah, sometimes. And I don't know," he said honestly. "I care about you, Lily. I'm trying to figure things out. I don't want to be something you're figuring out," she said. "I want to be someone you choose." He didn't have an answer. The next morning, Mia made breakfast for them before class. She poured him coffee, smiled like she always did, and kissed his cheek before he left. She had no idea that while he was drinking that coffee, his mind was still replaying Lily's words from the night before. By mid-semester, Ethan's life had become a careful performance. He memorized details, what he'd told each of them, what stories belonged where. He learned to watch his expressions, to time his replies. But guilt has a way of leaking through the cracks. Mia noticed first. "You've been distant lately," she said one evening as they walked back from campus. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah," he lied. "Just school stuff. I'm stressed." She nodded, though her eyes said she didn't quite believe him. "If something's wrong, you can tell me. You know that, right?" "Of course," he said, forcing a smile. That night, he lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling. He thought about ending things with Lily, typing out a message, deleting it, typing again. But every version of the message sounded wrong. He couldn't stand the idea of hurting her either. The next weekend, Lily surprised him by showing up at his dorm. He hadn't told her not to come, but he hadn't expected it either. His roommate wasn't there, thankfully. "I missed you," she said, wrapping her arms around him before he could speak. He held her, but guilt burned in his chest. "You shouldn't have come." "Why not?" she laughed. "I thought you'd be happy to see me." "I am," he said quietly. "It's just, things are complicated right now." She pulled back slightly. "Complicated how?" He didn't answer. Later, after she fell asleep beside him, he sat at the edge of the bed and stared at her. He thought about how much easier it would be if feelings came with on and off switches. If you could love one person fully without the shadow of another. When Lily left that Sunday, she kissed him goodbye and said, "You're thinking too much again." She was right. That evening, Mia texted him, "Want to come over? I made lasagna." And he went, because saying no would have raised questions. Because part of him really did miss her. At dinner, Mia talked about applying for summer internships. She mentioned maybe finding something in another city. Ethan nodded, pretending to listen, but all he could think about was how everything he'd built was balancing on a single thread. After dinner, she asked him to stay the night. He hesitated. "Are you sure everything's okay?" she asked again, softly. "Yeah," he said. "I'm just tired." She looked at him for a long moment, then said, "You'd tell me if something was wrong, right?" He smiled weakly. "Of course." But when she fell asleep, he slipped quietly out of bed and sat in her kitchen, scrolling through his phone. There was a message from Lily waiting for him. "Got home safe. Miss you already." He didn't reply. Not that night. He stared at the screen until the battery died, until the room went dark except for the faint light from the street outside. For the first time, Ethan realized he wasn't handling things anymore. He was losing control.